Check, 1, 2.
Just a little too small. Okay. So over there can see it. You know, it's he doesn't realize that.
He knows.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Sounds good? Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Windsor. And I'm Reverend David Old, and this is Judy Chandler.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We're so happy to be here today. We're going to begin our service with opening prayer. So let's take in a deep breath and get centered. Let's focus on our heart and feel a sense of gratitude arise. We have so much to be grateful for, especially at this time of year. We are so grateful, God, for your continued love and support. We know that you are meeting our every need, and we need only open up to the abundance that you have for us. We are thankful for our spiritual center and everyone here today. We are thankful for friends and family and all the blessings that we have in this life. As we celebrate Thanksgiving 2021, we acknowledge that God is our source. The air we breathe, the food we grow and eat, and indeed every good thing that comes to us. Thank you, God. Amen.
Amen. And indeed we do. We live and we move and we have our being in spirit. We're one with spirit. And we are grateful for that truth that sets each and every one of us free. And again, happy Thanksgiving. It's almost happy Thanksgiving. It just sort of came upon me all of a sudden that, this Monday is Thanksgiving. You know, being on the other side, we're like a month, behind you, so you're ahead of us there, and it's just almost caught me by surprise. Well, no, not almost. It did catch me by surprise. So, Judy, thank you for that beautiful prayer. And thank you, Mike, and we have our wonderful music team here, and Mike Karloff, our director, and Angelica Shaka doing our vocals today, and then we have the very own Judy Holland down here doing our bass guitar. So we're very happy. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
We are committed to offering a safe environment for our in-chapel services. Therefore, we are following the guidelines established by the Windsor Essex County Health Unit as follows. A. Masks are required to be worn correctly while inside. B. Directional arrows are placed in the aisles for traffic flow. And C. Seating signs have been placed in the pews for maintaining 2-meter physical distancing. You may sit next to the people you came with. In the community room where refreshments are being served after the service, masks can be removed to eat and drink, but please maintain a 2-meter physical distance from those you did not arrive with.
And today, our prayer chaplain that is here with us today is Susan Vanderbilt, and she is right there. You stand up, Susan, so everybody can see you. And so she is available for prayer after the service today here in the chapel. So all you have to do if you'd like prayer is after the service, just go over and introduce yourself, and she'll be absolutely delighted to pray with you. And also, we do have a prayer box here, and there are prayer slip forms, so if anyone has a prayer request, please feel free to fill out a form and put it in the prayer box, and then those names will go to our prayer chaplain team, and they will continue to hold you, your friend, or whoever it is you ask prayer for. We will hold you in prayer.
And we also have a silent unity, which it has 24/7 prayer support for everyone, and the phone number is 1-816-969-2000.
So, Mike, we've got some music. Yeah, please stand, and we're going to sing Spirit in Me.
speaking of gratitude, we are especially grateful today to our music team, and every day really. It's always wonderful. We're very blessed here at Unity to have such a dedicated team of musicians, and the music is always great, so we so appreciate you. So many of us here think of ourselves as spiritual rather than religious. We understand that many have not had an experience of religion that's been positive or loving or accepting. But here at Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor, we embrace the best aspects of religion, faith, devotion, and service, and we leave behind the dogma and rigidity that have left some people feeling judged and marginalized.
And we come together to encourage and support each other in our individual spiritual journeys. Wherever you are in that process, we are glad that you chose to be with us today. And we consider this our spiritual home, and if you're new to Unity, we welcome you and hope that you will make it your home as well. But here at Unity Spiritual Center Windsor, we want you to come as you are and grow into who you can be.
This month we're focusing on zeal, and so our affirmation is, I ignite my zeal by focusing on what brings me joy. So would you repeat that with me, please? I ignite my zeal by focusing on what brings me joy. And so it is.
So Mike, let's have some more music.
Let's ignite some zeal, as it were.
Go ahead, stand up.
I've got the power, you've got the power, we've got the power. I've got the power, you've got the power, we've got the power. I've got the power, you've got the power, we've got the power. I've got the power, you've got the power, we've got the power. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Thank you, Angelica. Such a lovely voice. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Judy. Oh, good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know, today, my message title is Stoking the Fire, Bringing Passion Back into Your Life. And that's because I have the wrong notes. I said, my Lord, I do not know where I am. Oh, Lord. Okay. So, anyway, back to my talk for this morning, which is stoking the fire, bringing action back into your life. And by the way, humor and laughing is one of the best ways to do it that I know of. Absolutely. It really stows your enthusiasm when you can laugh at yourself. And so this whole year, we are looking at the power, the 12 powers of man, which is what is the book that Charles Fillmore wrote. And we're also looking at a contemporary version of that, or by Dr. Zeal and Holton. They are unity ministers, also doctors, and they took his book and just looked at it in a different way. So it's a great book. Both these books are, if you're interested in this particular subject, especially the Power Up. The 12 Powers of Man by Fillmore was written in 1929 and published in 1930 as a book. And so it has a lot of dated language in it and everything, but it's still a fascinating book. And so I do recommend that. But Bill shares the Power of Your Life. That's the book that I have been really looking at and delving into for these talks. So our 12 powers that Fillmore is talking about is our he calls them our faculties, our abilities. They're actually divine ideas. They are our potential. There's these 12 powers that he refers to, and it's actually more than 12, but in his book he just goes into 12. And some of these powers that we've already explored is, for example, we've looked at faith, strength, wisdom, love, imagination, understanding, will, order. These are just some of the powers that we've looked at, and all of these powers, they reside in each and every one of us as our spiritual potential, our potential to be the best person that we can be. And for Fillmore, all of these powers together, when they are developed in us, and we develop them by using them. It's just like any other skill that we have to practice. So we practice our different powers, our faith, our strength, our wisdom, our love, by recognizing those powers, and we all understand. We know what love is. We know what wisdom is. We have an inkling of what faith is, and imagination and understanding. So these powers, they dwell in each and every one of us, and they are there for us to develop. Just like the muscles in our bodies, they're just, they're there in potential, but we have to, as we grow into adults, we have to actually exercise those muscles. And so we have to exercise these powers by using them. And for Charles, all of these powers combined, if we develop all of these powers to their highest capacity so that they're working smoothly together, we develop our Christ nature. We recognize, we come to grips with, we understand our spiritual nature. We understand that we are spiritual beings. And as we develop all of these powers that lie within us in potential, then we manifest the Christhood that we each have within us. We manifest our own divinity by putting these powers to work, by using them. So this, and another way of looking at it is those powers is sort of like our spiritual DNA. That's sort of how I sometimes describe it. Our spiritual DNA is there in full potential that we can call upon. So this month, we are working on looking at the power of zeal. And that's the power of enthusiasm, of passion, the power that inspires us and motivates us and excites us. It's our passion for life. It is the engine that drives us, and it's our get up and go. So, Charles Gilmore, at the age of 94, he wrote down this affirmation. He wrote, this is a 94-year-old man speaking. He says, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm as I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. Now, can you feel the enthusiasm? Can you feel the zeal in that? And so let's repeat this. This is one of my favorite affirmations of all time. So just repeat it with me. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm as I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. And I'm afraid that did not cut mustard with me. All right, so y'all need to speak up. You need to speak this affirmation like it's the truth, which it is. So one more time with zeal and enthusiasm. Okay. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm as I spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. That sounds so much better. Oh, that sounded so much better. Oh. That wore me out. I felt that feel. It just, oh boy. Okay. So, last week we looked at Bill and Cher's book, and they tell us that our genetic makeup is wired for action, it's wired for movement, it's wired for growth, and it's wired for sizzle. And they talked about how, we're vortexes of energy. Our body is made up of all these atoms. All these cells are made up of atoms, and they're pure energy. So we have all of this energy within us that we can tap into. And the problem is, with the whole so last week we looked at how to make this quantum symbol work for us, and it again, it lies within each and every one of us, and it's just waiting for us to turn it up. And so we looked at Bill and Shear's acronym HEAT. And the HEAT, which we spoke about last week, stands for, the H stands for honor your own uniqueness. This is a review. The E stands for eliminate old beliefs, habits, assumptions that block our good. And A is adopt a bias for action. And then T, temper your zeal with wisdom. So just a quick review of those again. So honor your uniqueness. First and foremost thing, you are here for a reason. Each and every one of us here are unique individuals. We have a unique blend of traits and talents and wisdom and strengths and skills and creativity. So we all have something great to offer, every one of us. And learning to accept and own what makes you unique is crucial to sharing your gifts with the world and tapping into the zeal, passion, and enthusiasm lies at the core of your being. Stephanie, I've lost my... Okay, thank you. So again, we have to really tap into those and recognize the gifts that we have and allow those gifts to be brought out and manifest into the world. And more than anything else, how we best do that is by recognizing the real truth of who we are. The fact that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And not an ego having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so we need to remind ourselves constantly. We need to remind ourselves of the truth of who we are. We have to remind ourselves of the fact of our own divinity. And then E stands for eliminate the old beliefs and habits and assumptions that block your good. You know, I mentioned some of them last week. What are some of the beliefs or the habits, assumptions and ideas that you keep in your mind that you're tempted with to dwell upon that is holding you from your good? So some of the ones that we looked at, it was like addiction and substance abuse. The beliefs such as, I will never amount to anything. Or you can't do it because you're not good enough. Or you don't have the education taken to succeed. Or you're too old to do it. Or you'll never dig out of your financial burden. You'll never find your soulmate because, well, you're just not worth it. I mean, these are all error thoughts that if we hold in our hearts and our minds, they will keep us from expressing our true nature. The power that lies within each and every one of us. We create our life experiences by the thoughts and the feelings that we hold within us. And all of these thoughts of I can't do this or I can't do that, they are holding us back. And they are not true. And then A is adopt a bias for action. So, like all of our spiritual powers, zeal is a potential within us that we have to practice, that we have to use in order for it to grow. So our bodies are literally just humming with power and activity. And they're just waiting for us to tap into these natural-born energies that lie within us. So practice
Practice being zealous. Practice enthusiasm. Put it in, make it active in your life. And stop saying the things that depress you and bring you down. Stop saying the things that discourage you, the hateful things, the negative things, the critical things. Just think of enthusiasm and the positive, and allow yourself to bring forth that beautiful Christ nature that lies within each and every one of us. And then the last one was zeal. T was temper your zeal with wisdom. So wisdom, again, is another one of our 12 powers, and all of our powers are meant to work together. So we have to use wisdom with our zeal, so we don't end up doing dumb things. pretty much it. I mean, we have this wisdom. We have to use the wisdom. Sometimes it's really easy to get so excited and you just go out without really thinking, and that can sort of be a problem at times. So this is an English proverb, an old English proverb. It says that zeal is like fire. It needs both feeding and watching. Zeal is like fire. It needs both feeding and watching. We have to not find our passion in life. We have to build our fashion in life. We have to build it up. We have this spark of zeal that we get in touch within us. And it'll get us so far, but then we have to use our other powers to keep going. We have to use our power of strength, for example, to keep on going. I mean, the strength is one of those powers where it just keeps us going. And we have to call upon that. So here's the thing with passion. Some people think they just have like one passion or have just a few passions, but the truth of the matter is you can develop a lot of different passions. I've throughout my life, I've had different passions, and it's okay to have different passions in your life. And when we get older, we may not want to keep some of the passions that we had. If I was a rock climber, for example, and enjoyed doing that when I was in my 20s and my 30s, I think probably it would probably be a good idea to let that passion go. So we have these different passions in our life, and we develop them. And so you can develop a passion at any time of your life. And one of the easiest things to do is to find something that you just enjoy doing. Do something that you enjoy doing, because that makes it so much easier to develop a passion. When I was growing up, I had two grandmothers, and one was the best cook in the world, and I absolutely loved going to her house. And my other grandmother, oh my Lord, she could not boil water. I mean, seriously, bless her heart, I just thoroughly enjoyed going to my mother's mother, Grandmother Townsend, because, oh my gosh, she made homemade biscuits, and she made homemade peach cobbler, and she pickled beets, and she put on a spread every time that we went there, and it was I just loved it. And then I would go to my other grandmother, and well, it was just the opposite of day and night. And I really wasn't, I learned at a very early age that there's a difference between good cooking and not so good cooking. And learned that at a very early age. And so I got really interested in, I spent some time with my grandmother, and she taught me to cook. And over time, I started developing a passion for cooking. And eventually, it led me into a career in food and beverage, and I cooked at at country clubs, and I ended up having a catering company, and then I ended up having my own restaurant. And another thing about the passion is, for some reason, I started collecting cookbooks just because that was something I was really interested in. And, after, I don't know, I had over 1,000 cookbooks. And it was one of those passions that sort of got away from me, okay? And it's easy to do. Sometimes your passions can get away from you. But the thing is, that's the thing, is if we want to build a passion, find something that you really enjoy. I mean, what's the use of picking something you don't enjoy, If you want to develop a passion for it. But it's never too late to develop passion for something that you can use and you can integrate into your life. And so I certainly did that with cooking. And I spent more than half of my adult years in the food and beverage business, and it was very enjoyable. I loved it. I loved learning different things, and that's what passion is all about, is really finding something that you really love and really getting into it and learning all about it, learning about I learned about the famous chefs and, it's so much fun, and that's, you stoke your zeal and your enthusiasm by all of this knowledge that you bring to mind, and you start studying about the different cuisines, and for me, for example. So that is all part of increasing your passion for something. And eventually you can incorporate that and integrate that into your life. But even as we get older, we can find all sorts of things that can bring us so much joy in our life. And just spending time with that, learning about different things. Another thing for me, for example, was gardening, and how much that has been such a pleasure in my life, and learning how all the different plants, how they grow in different areas. And so it's in your hands as to whether or not you have a dull life or a life that's really full of fun and interesting things. It's in our control. And find something that you really enjoy doing. Confucius said, this is a Confucius quote, he says, "Choose a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life." Well, I'm afraid I don't really agree with that. Because I've chosen several careers that I really, really love, but they were a lot of work, okay? I mean, if you really enjoy doing something and you want to do it well, you're going to put a lot of work into it. And that was definitely the way it was with the restaurant. That was one of the hardest things that I've ever done, and the second one, or maybe the first, would be being a minister. And I love this, but it is a lot of work. Oh. So, we're talking about building enthusiasm in your life and increasing your enthusiasm and increasing your passion. And doing something that you love is really, really, really one of the most important things. Howard Thurman was a civil rights leader. He was an educator, a philosopher, and a theologian. And he made this quote. He says, "Don't worry about what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." And that is such a true quote. What the world needs right now more than any people are people who have really come to alive. And especially people who have come alive to the truth of who they are. People who recognize the fact that we are divine beings. that we are created in the image and likeness. We are spiritual beings, filled with all the power and the talent that we want if we will just develop it. It's within us in potential. In an article in Psychology Today, Dr. Andre or Hank Weisinger wrote an article called Don't Curb Your Enthusiasm. And today we're living in a world where there's so much pressure in our culture to produce more and more, and people are working longer hours for the most part, and they're asking to take on more and more responsibility that frequently goes beyond their job description. And then we have the stresses of our everyday life. We have our financial stresses, our physical and mental health issues. We have family members and loved ones, and our own as well, that where we're stressed. And stress takes a mental toll on each and every one of us. And it not only taxes us physically, it taxes us physically, and it just wears us down, and it exhausts us. So rest and relaxation is certainly on the something that we always need to do. We need to take our time off and get some rest. And Hank, though, Dr. Weisinger, in his book, it was a New York Times bestseller called Performing Under Pressure, The Science of Doing Your Best When It Matters Most. He describes a simple practice that we can use throughout the day, okay? One that not only reduces feelings of exhaustion and pressure, but also it makes you and those around you more productive. And it works instantly. And it's called enthusiasm. It's called enthusiasm. You know, we become enthused automatically when we achieve a goal, or when we encounter something that we like, or a person that we like, a food that we like. We automatically feel enthusiasm. But we don't always accomplish a goal every day, and sometimes we have to do things that aren't necessarily enjoyable, and we do know that. But we don't have to do that. We don't have to achieve a goal every day. We don't have to do things that we always just like. What Weisinger says that you can learn how to create enthusiasm for the moment and throughout the day, but you need to know the nature of enthusiasm. You need to know the nature of enthusiasm. So it's an affective state. Now, in psychology, an affective state refers to the experience of feeling the underlying emotional state. So how do you feel when you feel enthusiastic? How do you feel? Don't you feel energized? I mean, don't you feel excited? I mean, normally those are the two responses, is you feel energized and you feel excited. So enthusiasm is a state of heightened arousal. I mean, your breathing rate goes up, your heart rate goes up, for example, it becomes accelerated. And also, with enthusiasm comes, it's accompanied by positive thoughts. You know, when we're enthused, when we're full of passion, when we're eager to do something, we have these thoughts that I can do this, I can do it, or I love this. And so these are some of the common enthusiastic thoughts. Also, enthusiasm is a behavior. And it stimulates movement, okay? I mean, think of someone that's enthused and passionate and excited. You can see it in their face. You can see it in their body language. So, I mean, it causes us to do different kinds of movements. You can tell when a person, by body language and by face and eye expressions, and maybe not so much with the mask, but you can because it changes your behavior. So enthusiastic responses they're hardwired into us. It's a cross-culture thing. Okay, I mean, a smile is a smile anywhere. Okay, you recognize a smile. You know what that is. If people are clapping their hands and jumping up and down, I mean, if you go to a soccer game in Brazil, that's exactly what people do when they have us do a score. But we do the same things here in our football games and our basketball games. We shout and we scream and we raise our voices and we act crazy because it's universal. It's just hardwired within us. So enthusiasm communicates excitement, engagement, and positivity to people no matter where you are in the world. And also another thing is that emotions are contagious. Have you ever noticed that? When you're with people that are sort of in the dumps, it's just sort of easy to just sort of feel down. But if you're with someone that's really animated and active and smiling and laughing, it brings your whole mood up. It does. So enthusiasm, again, is expressed and it's hardwired within each and every one of us. It's expressed in our facial expressions, our voice, our gestures, and just by the fact that we are aroused and up. And so these are universal. So if you have a day that's sort of really stressful and it's really drained you, and you need more energy, you can do some things to help what I'd call jazz you up. It really just does, it takes, these are things that Weisinger points out in his book, things that you can do for when you're sort of feeling down in the dumps or when you really need to get your energy up. And he calls them enthusiasm technologies, is what he calls them. So enthusiasm, this is what he says, enthusiastic technologies leverage your inherent emotional communication mechanisms, i.e. your voice, facial expressions, gestures, arousal. So they help you experience enthusiasm, energized, excited, and positive, and ready to be productive. So here are some of the enthusiastic technologies that he says that we can practice. Activate yourself. That's number one. Activate yourself. So moving yourself. If you're sitting around feeling down, get up. Get up, get active, go out and do something. Even just going out and taking a 10-minute walk will help elevate your mood. It'll help you get ready to do more. And so activate yourself. I am finding this to be more and more helpful with me. I am walking more and more. I'm getting up first thing in the morning. I'm feeling so much better because I have started this daily ritual of just getting up and walking every morning. It's great. And if I'm later on in the day, if I'm feeling just sort of worn out and still have things to do, I'll just get up and take a 10 or 15-minute walk. And it helps to energize me. So activate yourself. And then also the other thing, which is an enthusiasm technology, is music. And of course, how many of you out there use music to elevate your mood? We do. We have the music. It may be, for some of us, it may be rock and roll, or symphony, music can activate and lift our spirits. So that is another thing that you can use. Just have your favorite music available to activate you, get you enthused. And that's what we try to do here with our musicians, and have everybody, come here and we get together and we get to sing together. Another thing, how many of you, do any of you remember the Hoosiers? It was a film by Gene Hackman. It was about he was a baseball team coach in a little high school in Indiana, and which is Hoosiers. And so it was about him being the coach that brought his little team of baseball players. It made them win the state championship. And what he would do before he would send his boys out there to play the game, he would have them clap, and he would go, just clap, and they would clap and it was just all of this action, this clapping. And so that is another emotional technology, is clapping. So if you are feeling sort of down and needing a little bit of extra get up and go, then now, did you feel that? I did. I felt it. I mean, that got me excited again. Okay, so clap it up. And then the other one is smile and laugh, and I mentioned that earlier. Just find something to laugh at. I mean, learn jokes. I don't know about you, but sometimes I stand in the mirror and I make faces at myself. Well, now, if you're just too darn serious someday, just do that, okay? Just get up in front of the mirror and just make some funny faces. But share your jokes, share your smiles, share your laughter. And that, not only do you bring yourself up, but you bring everybody around you up as well. So none of us need more stress. We all know what stress is like. We don't need it. And the downside of stress, we all know what that is. So pressure and stress is our enemy. So luckily you've just learned a few of these enthusiastic technologies, or ETs, that you can use to combat that stress and energize you when you need it. And so I love that article that Dr. Weisinger that he wrote, and I'm going to definitely take that to heart. So activate yourself, use music, clap, and laugh and smile. And those are 4 easy little methods for you to energize yourself and bring your mood up. So with that, let's prepare for our meditation. So I invite you right now to just relax in your seat and close your eyes if you wish. We just allow ourselves to take a few deep breaths. We allow ourselves to relax into this moment. And I invite you to Smile. Just smile to yourself. Think of maybe something that funny that happened, something that brought a smile to your face. It could be your grandchild or your child. It could be your cat or your dog. Just allow yourself to smile and to feel the energy of that smile. So we allow ourselves to this morning to just open ourselves totally, completely up to that Spirit that is our very source, that is our very life, that is the energy that we need, our life breath. That Spirit which is pure joy, pure joys. Spirit that we live and move and have our being in, and that a Spirit that lives and moves and has its being in and through and as us. We remind ourselves right here, right now, that we are divine. That the very mind that was in Jesus Christ is in us. Indeed, in fact, the atoms that made up Jesus Christ are still here. But that one presence and one power that incarnated into Jesus Christ is within each and every one of us. Wanting us to awaken to the truth of who we are and be the Christs that we are. So take another deep breath and smile and feel the joy that dwells within each and every one of us. Tap into that. It is your birthright. So as we tap into that and as we allow ourselves to be totally comfortable and still in our seats, we allow our minds to let go of any thoughts. We do not catch hold of any thought that passes through. We just note it and let it go. And in this place of peace and quiet and stillness, let us enter for just a little while into the silence. So we tap into that peace beyond understanding that lies at the very core of our being. We acknowledge the truth of who we are. And we go forth this week reminding ourselves on a daily basis of that truth that sets us free, that truth that allows us to tap into the zeal and the enthusiasm that is at the core of our being. And tap into it so well and align with it so well that people will just look at you and they will see that enthusiasm. They will see that light within you. You are the light of the world, Jesus said. And my friends, you are the light of the world. So as we go forth, we allow ourselves to be that light, opening ourselves completely and totally to the truth of who we are, and knowing that we are guided each and every step of this life's journey. And for this, we are truly grateful. And so it is. Amen. Amen. We've got a song now, right?
Yeah, you're welcome to remain seated or stand if you wish. This is God is So Amazing, shining through us.
God is so amazing, shining through you. God is so amazing, shining through you. One look in your eye, and you know it's true. God is so amazing, shining through you. God is so amazing, shining through me. God is so amazing, shining through me. One look in my eyes, and you can see. God is so amazing, shining through me. God is so amazing, shining through us. God is so amazing, shining through us. Your heart and my heart is the sweetest love. God is so amazing. God is so amazing. God is so amazing, shining through us.
Once again, I'd like to thank the musicians today, Mike, Angelica, and Judy. And I'd also like to thank Reverend David for showing us the power of how to think on your feet. You did a great job. And when I fairly sizzle with Zeal at home, they just tell me I'm speaking too loudly and just calm down. So I don't know. I guess I have to temper it a little bit. I haven't got that down right. But one of the things that I'm passionate about is Unity Spiritual Center of Windsor and unity as a whole. The unity movement is something that is passionate to me. And so that's why, you know, I'm here all the time, and I just appreciate Reverend David and everything that it takes to bring this to us. I also want to say I always learn something from your talks, Reverend David. I'm going to be really passionate this week when I write that list for Paul. I'm going to take it to him. I'm going to clap. I'm going to dance. I'm going to laugh and make faces. And so you're going to, I know you're going to do the same, right? Yes. Okay. That's just great.
Are you talking about a honey-do list?
It's a honey-do list, yes. It never ends. I think it doesn't get done. That's part of the problem. Anyways. So at this time, I'd like to have us take to heart our vision, our mission, and our statement of being, and these are found on the screen. We have a global vision. Will you please speak it with me? Our vision is a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
And we have a sacred mission. Will you say that with me? We inspire and empower spiritual growth to awaken us and transform the world.
And we have a personal statement of being. Will you please say this with me and really mean it, knowing that it is the truth of who you are? Together,
I am a dynamic center of the Christ light, mighty to unfold my good and radiate that good to all. So we do have a whole lot of things going on this week, so we're just going to refer you to our newsletter and our website that has all of that information on there, but a couple of things we'll go ahead and point out. So again, we have we have something going on practically all week, but I do want to remind you of what I'm calling our Midweek Renewal, which is our Wednesday service that we have, and it's a time for us just to get together. We're starting it at 6:30, and we invite you to come at 6:30 for fellowship. Just check in the middle of the week. And we do it on Zoom. It's a small group, but we'd like to see more of you there. And so we do check in. We have a little bit of time of meditation, of fellowship, and then we have a meditation and we have some prayer. And it's a short service. We're usually finished by 7:45. So we do. That starts again at 6:30. We would love to have you.
So that's on Wednesdays, and on Thursdays from 2 to 4, we have emotional freedom techniques facilitated by Susan Moretsky, Learn to Tap. And then on Saturdays, a Course in Miracles study group facilitated by Kathy Ventura every Saturday, 10:30 to 12:30.
And then one other thing I do want to remind you of is we do have our Unity Canada Convention. That is this coming October the 22nd and the 24th. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will not be there that Sunday. Be here that Sunday because I will be participating in the conference. And so we do invite you to participate. They have a early bird special that is through tomorrow, which is the 11th. So it's only $80 if you pay for it tomorrow. And if you're interested in it, this is a marvelous convention. I'm talking about top-rate speakers and classes. So do check it out. And then we do have grant money to reimburse you. All right? We haven't had enough people register for it. So if you're interested in going, pay for it. Send me your $80 receipt, and we can get you reimbursed for that. And it's very much worth your while.
All of our classes, programs, and services are made possible by your generous donations. Our heartfelt thanks for your continuous support. We've created many easy ways to donate, which you can find on our website. For those of you here today at our live service, for safety concerns, we will not be passing an offering basket as we normally would, but we do have a love offering box near the foyer door with offering envelopes and pens, where you can drop in your tithe or love offering as you leave the chapel. Again, thank you and bless you for your loving and generous support.
And before we end today's service, I do just thank you all for coming out. I know it's a Thanksgiving a holiday for you, but thank you for coming. We're just delighted that you're here, and thank you for our wonderful musicians as well.
Before we close with a short prayer of gratitude and our prayer for protection, I want to remind you that, again, today's prayer chaplain is Susan Fabro, and she's available for prayer directly after the service here in the chapel. You won't be disappointed. She just does lovely work. And join us for refreshments and fellowship in the community room behind the chapel after service, remembering to be aware of proper social distancing.
And then right at 12, I'll be out here and we'll be doing conversations with the speaker. And so we invite you to come out here at 12 o'clock, which is only 15 more minutes away. But we'll get going anyway. Y'all can spend a little bit more time if you want, but we do invite people from online to come and join us as well. So please do join us. We can have some really good discussions if you're there.
So if everybody would please stand now and open up our hearts and minds in gratitude as we close, and by speaking out loud or even silently to yourselves, our love offering prayer followed by the prayer for protection. Divine love
in me and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And if you would follow after me, I will read the first part, and then you would read the second part with me. The light of God surrounds us.
I am light.
The love of God enfolds us.
I am love.
The power of God protects us.
I am power.
The presence of God watches over us.
I am presence.
Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. And so it is, my friends, and so it is. Thank you again for coming.